What's up, guys? Welcome to the weekly Q&A. I've got nothing really to announce this week, but if you entered the giveaway from Collector Zone last week, make sure you watch to the end because I'm going to announce who the winner is. Starting off with patron questions, I'm cheating a little bit here because Ryan O'Rourke from Patreon and Daniel S. on YouTube asked very similar questions, so I'm just combining them. Basically, we're looking at if we're going to see Obi-Wan and Darth Maul fight again. How is there going to be any tension there? Because we know Obi-Wan survives. I do have an idea about that, and it's a little bit far-fetched, but bear with me. In the trailer, we've seen the Night Sister magic, like possession, being used on Kanan, Ezra, Sabine, and Maul. What if he is trying to possess all of them to use to fight Obi-Wan? Because that would really stack the odds in Maul's favor. And it would add tension to the fight because there would be the potential for injury for any of our heroes. And it would be kind of interesting to see if Obi-Wan had to fight them without hurting them. And it could also potentially, I don't know how the possession works, but it could be a way for them all to interact with Obi-Wan and not remember it if they're possessed the entire time. So again, I think that's a little bit far-fetched, but it's a possibility. But I totally get what you guys are saying, is that there needs to be some sort of tension if they are going to fight. That's not confirmed. It's not even confirmed that Obi-Wan's going to return. It's just been hinted at, and I hope it's something that happens, but it is something that I hope the writers take into consideration. Kent Lundblad asks who I would pick to play a live-action Ahsoka Tano if she were to ever appear in the films. To me, Ashley Eckstein is Ahsoka, so even though she's only ever provided the voice for Ahsoka, she has cosplayed as Ahsoka. I would want to see her in the role. Like, I don't think I could see Ahsoka without the voice, so at the very least, like maybe if CGI gets good enough where she is like a completely realistic and believable character, they'd just do CGI and Ashley could provide the voice. I don't know, but if someone else was playing Ahsoka, to me it's like they are one and the same, kind of like how Ryan Reynolds desperately wanted to play Deadpool and he pushed for it and he pushed for it. Like, there's a passion for that character there. Ashley is definitely and obviously passionate about Ahsoka, so to me, she's the only person that I think deserves to play Ahsoka. Speaking of Ahsoka, Casey Miller wants to know if I think that the Ahsoka book took place too soon after Revenge of the Sith. So the book takes place 1 year after the events of Order 66 and all that. And I would say this is a minor gripe, but yeah, I kind of do wish that it were set a little more down the line, mostly because everything for the Empire seemed to be set in place so quickly. Like, there's Inquisitors, there's Star Destroyers, like, they do reference Clone Wars era walkers, but the vibe I got was that, like, the Empire is already established in almost every way. They even mentioned new fighters. Like, I kind of would have liked to see, if it's going to take place 1 year after Revenge of the Sith, I'd like to see the Empire in a little bit of a more, it's still getting set up period, where we see a Venator-class Star Destroyer, and maybe, like, the clones are still around, which I don't think they'd been completely phased out at that point, according to Ahsoka, but it would have been cool to actually see some clones instead of all of them be brand new stormtroopers. So yeah, the way that the Empire is established in that book, I do kind of feel like it should have been set 5 years later, but it's a minor gripe and an otherwise perfectly good, I would say, like, Clone Wars worthy tale. Jared Han asks if we should have an anthology film down the line that takes place like 100 years after the Battle of Yavin, kind of like the stories surrounding Cade Skywalker. Anything is possible, especially with the anthology films. I don't see it happening anytime soon, though. I think Lucasfilm is more likely going to stick to the established eras. So we've got, like, the prequel, the original trilogy, or really, if we're going by wars, like the Clone Wars era, the Galactic Civil War, whatever we're calling the sequel trilogy war. Even the Old Republic has at least been referenced. Like, The future, I think, jumping into a brand new story with like totally new characters that have no relation at all to the ones that we all know and love, I think that would be a huge risk for them right now. I think that they might kind of dip their toe in with books and comics and maybe a series. Like, I think it's something that could totally be done down the line. I just don't think it's going to happen right away. Christopher Rosado wants to know if there are any movies I'm looking forward to. I assume you mean besides Rogue One. Man, I haven't like been to the theater much at all this year. I used to go all the time, and I'm just running out of time to go, but I definitely want to see Doctor Strange. I'm interested in the Assassin's Creed movie, and I'm filming this on Thursday, and the Logan trailer just dropped, and that looked sick. So, off the top of my head, those three. Assassin's Creed I'm a little wary of just because it's a video game movie and those never seem to go quite right, but I also wasn't like I was never a huge player of the franchise, but the movie looks cool, so the differences there might not matter to me. That's it for patron questions. If you are a patron and you did not see your question answered here, go back to Patreon and our weekly Q&A thread. I gave you a written response there. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, just follow the link in the description. You can learn more. It's only $1 a month, and the combined contributions really, really help the channel out. Moving on to YouTube questions, Indominus Productions asks why the Ywings that we see in the Galactic Civil War and in Rebels are different from the ones that we saw in the Clone Wars. Basically, it's a really simple answer. They are the same model of ships, but they took the extra protective armor off of the engine area. And some of the models just didn't have gunners positions, and some in the Clone Wars did. Christine B wants to know what my favorite Clone Wars arc is. It's a pretty obvious choice, and it's often stated as a lot of people's favorites, but I love the Umbara arc. Anything that really focuses on the clones. I mean, I have said this before, I love stories about like the normal soldiers. I love all of the pilots in the original trilogy area, and I love the X-Wing books. So anything that's focusing on the clones, like anything with Fives or Domino Squad, I really dig those episodes, and the Umbara arc is by far the best one that does that. And Pong Krell is just an amazing villain. Like, he's intimidating before he goes like full on bad, and then he turns into like a slasher movie villain when they're like running through the forest and he's kind of picking them off one by one. Like that scene's great. Outside of the Umbara arc, I also really like near the end of season 5 everything with Darth Maul and the Shadow Collective and Mandalore. All that stuff was fantastic. Motherbrain Jr. asks if I could have any droid from Star Wars, who would I pick? A lot of my favorite droids are like 000 and BT. I really love them from the Darth Vader comics, but I obviously would not want them around me at all. I just like to read about them. I think I'd go with BB-8 because he seems the most like a pet, you know? I mean, he has a lot of personality. He is excited to see Poe when they're reunited. He just kind of acts like a dog. And I'm a dog person, so I think I'd have to pick BB-8. And the last question of the day comes from SWNerd2188, and he asks what the weirdest Jedi is. I'm actually about to do a video on him in a week or two, and I think Fact Free actually just beat me to doing a video on him, but I'm gonna go with Beldorion the Hutt. He is like the only Hutt Jedi that we know of in Legends or canon, and he's weird because they're very, very rare. Also, he's weird because his existence was very polarizing, and really not even polarizing. Most people just hated him, including myself. I was not a fan of the character because they're Hutts, and they're not really supposed to be attuned to the Force. The Force doesn't affect them. You can't do Jedi mind tricks on them, for example. So it's kind of strange that a Hutt would be a Jedi, especially because, I mean, even with all the Jedi training, like, he still becomes a crime lord. He still goes evil. Like, is there an example of a good Hutt anywhere? They're always corrupt. I mean, I'm sure that's like alienist to say, to lump all Hutts together, but there really isn't a good example of like a nice hut that we've ever seen. So why would you make one a Jedi? Why would you help him develop force powers? I just think that he's silly, but he's also definitely weird. That's all the time I have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's Q&A, just put it in the comments down below or follow the link to Patreon, become a patron, and we have a weekly Q&A thread. Before I go, I need to quickly announce the winner of the Collector Zone giveaway from last week. Thank you to everyone who entered, but the winner is Evan West. So congratulations, Evan. I have sent you an email if you want to respond to that, or you can shoot me a message here. We'll get in touch, and I'll get you all sorted out so you get your prize. Thank you to Collector Zone for hosting this giveaway. If you want to see their store and check out all the Star Wars products and everything they have to offer, just follow the link in the description. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As always, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.